Go ahead.
Well, I stand firmly with the resolution which states that many gun restrictions should be dropped. I am here before you to explain what should eliminate what restrictions on assault rifles should be dropped. Let's talk about what we mean by eliminate. Assault rifles are illegal to own, and so we want to eliminate restrictions that make ownership of assault rifles legal. Many of us believe that assault rifles is too much, but in reality they they will help people. I have three contentions each which uphold my value, my harms. People are more vulnerable and helpless. It violates your rights to bear arms, and gun industry is getting affected by the bans. And for my second contention, we will explain our plan, which is to eliminate restrictions on owning an assault rifle and place them in the market where people can buy it just like any other firearm. My last contention, my partner and I will explain to you the many benefits that are good in making the assault rifles legal to buy, how they will keep you, your families, your friends feel safe and secure, how the economy will benefit from the production of these guns, and how it would no longer violate your rights according to the Second Amendment, which allows you to bear arms. So, to my first contention, to many of you, handguns or shotguns might be a more convenient option, but an assault rifle can be outfitted with accessories such as flashlights to make a very handy defense option. With these high capacity, lightweight, accuracy, and accessory option, this is a nice weapon to have in case of an emergency. It's basically normal rifles dressed up in a little bit differently. Common .223 by 5.56 or 7.62 by 39 rounds are both weaker than your average deer hunting round. There's nothing about these weapons that make them more dangerous than the other firearm. They are also used for the same purpose: hunting, recreational shooting, and self-defense. They are also very rarely used for crime. The weapon of choice for murders in general, as well as mass murders, is handguns, not rifles. Fewer people killed by assault rifles than by handguns, shotguns, knives, clubs, hammers, or even bare hands. So so there is really an argument for banning them. Even the Department of Justice stated that assault weapon ban had no effect on violence. High-profile mass shootings still occurred even when the previous federal AWB was in effect. According to Gallup, the conducted survey with a random sample of 1,017 adults aged 18 and older lived all in the 50 United States and the District of Columbia, asked if they were feel safe or less safe or depends. And they were asked A, safer, B, more dangerous, or C, depends. 63% said it was safer, 30% said they'll feel more dangerous, 6% said it depends. So you can see more people thought it is safe. More Americans today believe that guns are used for a sense of security and safety. According to CNN, like more firearms, military-style weapons such as the AR-15 are semi-automatic, increasing protection because shooters can fire off many shots without having a manually chambered and a new bullet. With a bolt-action rifle or a pump-action shotgun, firing multiple shots takes more time. Military-style weapons look more dangerous than other guns, CNN says, but really, there are many weapons available which are just as lethal, but which are not designed in the military style. But now let's mention the other harms, which how it violates your rights under the U.S. Constitution. You're allowed to bear arms, whether it's a handgun, shotgun, bolt-action rifle, semi-automatic rifle, or automatic, or anything. You have the right to bear, the right to have a gun in case you need to defend yourself. If all these bans were to continue and the gun industry were to be affected, according to the data caller, demand on new guns is high. FBI background checks the new guns through America's 130,000 licensed firearms dealers have doubled since 2006. But with politicians pushing the various bans of firearms and magazines, the era of growth of gun industries may come to an end. The gun industry employs approximately 220,000 highly skilled workers, according to the recent reports released by the National Shooting Sport Foundation. Over the past 2 years, while the rest of the country faced unemployment rate about 8%, the gun industry added more than 37,000 new jobs with the average salary of $47,000. I mean, let's face it, at this moment, the gun industry is one of the driving forces of the economy. Second, so many restrictions on the status quo keep people from getting guns in affect the gun industry. Ask yourself, what do you feel safer with? A handgun that runs out of ammunition faster, a shotgun that takes time to load, or assault rifle that gives you, or an assault rifle that gives you a larger magazine? That's a simple answer. So, many of us would choose the assault rifle because it's the better choice. Our plan is to eliminate all restrictions on assault rifles and place them in the market to help the economy. They will be sold in place with gun control laws, like all the other guns that will help our weapons not get into the wrong hands, such as background checks, and have we will test it mentally to see if they are stable and mature enough to own one. This plan will take place next year when passed by Congress, which will allow assault rifles to be sold. Third condition, which explains you why there are many benefits that are good in making assault rifles legal to buy, how they will keep you and your families and friends feel safe and secure, and how it would no longer violate your rights according to the Second Amendment. Eliminating restrictions on assault rifles will do more good, more with people having them, they can defend their families and themselves. We all read words assault and automatically that is dangerous, but assault is actually not an object. Our plan is to just make it legal for people can defend themselves and in case of emergency because it's more reliable, better in themselves, better for defense than other guns. And finally, if our plan goes through, the rights to bear arms will hold its value and actually follow through with keeping America safer. For advantage, according to the National Rifle Association, the NRA, guns used in self-defense 2.5 million times a year. The police cannot protect everyone all at the same time. 61% of men and 56% of women surveyed by Pew Research said the stricter gun laws would make it more difficult for people to protect their homes and families. Nelson Lungidi, a PhD professor at George Mason University School of Law, said that the right to self-defense and a means of defending oneself is a basic natural right and grows out of the right to life. And many gun control laws interfere with the ability of law-abiding citizens to defend themselves against violent criminals. Wayne, the executive vice president of the NRA, stated the only thing that stops a bad guy is with a gun is a good guy with a gun. May 9th, 2013, 40% of the convicted felons surveyed admitted that they avoided committing crimes when they knew the victim was armed with a gun. So as you can see, I have explained why and how our plan will work and will keep us safe. We will no longer be vulnerable in crimes and our rights will not be violated. So it's just an action, not an object. Like I mentioned, by standing next to my partner and I, we will all secure a safer future.
All right, thank you. Hey, dude, you're still being recorded.